AI can transform so many industries. You just have to, ask the right question.
Yeah. And also figure out, I think, a practical use case and context.
Yeah.
My favorite way to do this as a starting point, go ask ChatGPT.
I mean, it does work really well.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say something like this. How can, let's say you sell cars.
Yeah.
Right. How can a car dealership adopt AI and machine learning?
Yeah.
How can an e-commerce company adopt AI and machine learning?
Yeah.
Right. How can a consulting firm?
Yeah.
Right. So on and so forth.
So after spending the last maybe 10 days deploying out some different platforms, the biggest thing that I've recognized is the way that ChatGPT is set up is so perfect. We don't need to overcomplicate things.
ChatGPT is now available in that beta version with Microsoft. And you can integrate, you can ask it questions, it gives you responses, it cites sources, it's pretty slick.
Yeah, and it was also a slick negotiation tactic for OpenAI because now, with Microsoft, because now they've got all of that inside of their, data centers. Latency.
So
interconnectivity is just right there.
The language learning model is the tip of the AI spear with ChatGPT, in my opinion.
Yeah. And
I see large tech companies really going ham on this because, from Microsoft's perspective, do you think it was a good mover? Do you think it was a good move to do what they did?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think this allows them to do to Google?
I think it's fresh minds, first of all, is always a good one. Essentially putting your money into a research organization who's looking to, break the rules, find out what's possible, what's not is always, a good thing.
So my thought process, just thinking about this a little bit more like tactically, maybe I'll go fishing with better bait here.
Yeah.
Is you said earlier, Google Cloud Platform was the lead in machine learning capabilities right now out of the major cloud platforms.
I think, let me put this in a better way. Before GCP existed, there was machine learning happening at Google.
Okay.
It was integrated into all their products in some capacity. Could be filters in, Gmail. Could be spam detection. It's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. What I was bringing up is, they've built a culture on integrating machine learning from day one. Again, not from literal day one, but you know what I mean?
You nailed it. Their fundamental business is built around that, right? So if we go off the assumption that their fundamental business has been built around that, and they largely have been a front runner or an early adopter.
There we go. Yeah.
Right.
That's a great
and
way of saying
Microsoft has been a laggard.
They definitely have.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's look at their businesses. Google is funded by advertising.
Correct.
Most of that coming from search advertising.
Correct.
If you have a chatbot that can give you responses, do you think that's going to impact the amount of money that Google makes from search ads?
100% yes.
So in my mind, I think Microsoft's over here like, hey, we have a really diverse revenue stream.
Correct.
And we need to catch up on the cloud. Google's cloud platform, Google Cloud Platform, is largely subsidized by Google search ads.
Correct.
So Bing and Microsoft can afford to write off its entire revenue that it gets from its search engine because it's got
bingo
all these other products that it sells: Azure, SQL Server, Microsoft Office, Windows, etc. Right? So they've got Xbox, they've got all these diverse revenue streams. Google pretty much sells ads. Google's an advertising company. Don't fool yourself. So in my mind, I see this as a threat to Google's business, very, very well positioned by Microsoft to try to hit their major revenue model to slow down their cloud to get Microsoft to speed up. And then, like you said, the strategic acquisition with OpenAI. Now, guess what they get? They get
investment.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Investment. Thank you. Again, whiskey. So I see that as, this is basically the first shot in the AI race. This is the first public shot in the AI race. So to me, it's going to be wildly fascinating to see because Google launched a version of Google with a language learning model in it called Baird. and it was terrible.
Yeah, the
They produced a false fact
JWST.
about the James Hubble telescope.
James Webb.
Thank you.
James Webb Space Telescope.
Thank you.
JWST.
I joined the Hubble telescope and the James Webb.
Yeah, no worries.
Right. Thank you for the correction. Yeah, it botched it. Right.
Yeah.
Google stock was down like 8%.
Yep.
So I mean, for me, this is wildly fascinating because you and I, obviously being, technology consultants, we're largely looking at this like, okay, how do we not only shift our own business to be successful with this, but how are we helping clients shift their business to be successful with this? But then you got to think about it in another dimension, which is, oh shit, the largest digital commerce space online, which is search, is going through a paradigm shift.
Very much so.
I mean, this is like the equivalent of people who grew up pre-internet and then the internet came around.
Yeah. And then also, I mean, looking at where people search the most, common devices, being a smartphone, for example. You know how hard it is trying to Google stuff on the phone, on the go? That's going to be a big impact for OpenAI or, the ChatGPT type of input to find answers immedially while you're trying to walk in San Francisco and not get, not hit somebody, right?
Or a needle.
Or you're watching where you're going. Yeah, absolutely. But, finding what you need as fast as possible, time's our most valuable resource. How can you use your time most efficiently?
I agree. So let's knock out some follow-up thoughts here and some closing thoughts. If you were a business leader, okay, what advice would you be giving to a client right now if they were wanting to understand the current technology landscape with AI and machine learning, and B, they were wanting to determine what they should be doing about it to prepare for the future?
First piece of advice, pretty critical. Don't delete any of your data. Pretend that's oil, pretend that's gold. Hold on to that. You never know when that data becomes relevant. I think that's kind of a big one, right? Yeah, data storage sucks sometimes, but, save as much as you can. And you're going to have to adopt, models are going to change. I'm not exactly sure how to like,
on which one?
Generically like throw out like this.
Like this single great answer.
Yeah.
Like in a 30-second news clip.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's break it down.
Got a little stage fright there. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Don't try to go pee.
Yeah.
If somebody was wanting to get a better understanding of it, what are some resource of AI and machine learning? What are some resources that they can use to stay sort of current or start to follow the people who are leading the industry to just start to get assimilated and affiliated? What do you use?
I honestly don't think most businesses really have enough understanding to really like go to a tool like Weights and Biases and plug their stuff in and just, start understanding and solving different problems. I think it's, go find a data scientist, bridge them with a business analyst, bring in someone from finance, bring in all of these heads, put them into a room for a while and, have everyone talk about what they do, get some understanding of, what's going on in an organization and how that organization can, create a roadmap for